Welcome to Orient TV English News Summary. 96 civilians were killed in Syria today until the moment as they were shot by the regime forces, mostly in Aleppo. And in the neighborhood of Saif al-Dawla, at least 8 people were publicly executed, while the military warplanes hovered over many neighborhoods and even targeted a children's hospital at a time when intensive clashes continued in many areas. While in Aleppo countryside, the shelling was renewed on most of the villages there, killing and wounding many civilians as well as destroying houses. Regime forces continued shelling the cities and towns of Daraa, which resulted in the destruction of a number of houses and killing and wounding dozens of people. This time after the towns of Da'al and Yadoudi were exposed to heavy bombing, which coincided with the bombing of Tel Shahab, Khirbat Ghazali and Busra al-Sham as well as Tafas. And activists reported heavy clashes in the city of Nawa between the state forces and the Free Syrian Army. In the city of Inkhil, the regime forces carried out raids and arrests amid heavy gunfire as activist pictures posted images of the destruction caused by the missiles. In the Syrian capital, many explosions shook the neighborhoods today, accompanied with military shelling and airstrikes. And many people were wounded when their residential buildings were in Al-Qaboon, Al-Asali, and Al-Tadamun, and Al-Hajar Al-Aswad. And in Babilla, activists posted new images that show the effect of bombing and destruction in the town. Also, columns of smoke were seen rising from several areas, and in the meantime, many were killed and wounded in Jdidat Artuz in Damascus suburbs. And so was the case in the Zabadani, Harasta, and Douma, which started the day with the fall of a mortar shell in the countryside of the Grand Mosque. State forces continued shelling the neighborhoods of Deir ez-Zor and its countryside consecutively, focusing on the neighborhoods of Al-Rashidiyya, Al-Ba'ajin, Shuwakh, Jbeila, Al-Sheikh Yasin, which killed and wounded many. While in the countryside, the government troops continued shelling the cities and towns of Al-Bukamal and Al-Muhassan, as well as Al-Souseh, causing many casualties and destroying many buildings. Several neighborhoods in the city of Idlib, including Al-Qusur, witnessed fierce campaigns of raids and arrests, as the regime forces were in search for those who are for those who are refraining from the joining of the government forces. And in the countryside, the state forces pounded the brick factory in the city of Saraqib and its neighboring villages. And the shelling also continued on the cities and towns of Taftanaz and Ihsam, as well as the areas of Sahl al-Rouj. Moving to Homs, where shelling renewed every now and then on several neighborhoods, including Karam al-Shami, as artillery shelling targeted the village of Al-Hamidiyya and Al-Qusayr. In the meantime, several villages in Homs came under artillery shelling from the military checkpoints stationed in the main streets and neighborhoods. But despite all these violent attacks, a demonstration came out in the neighborhood of Al-Mal'ab al-Baladi, demanding freedom and dignity, as well as the downfall of Al-Assad regime. The joint UN and Arab envoy Lakhdar al-Ibrahimi arrived to Syria today, while the Egyptian president Mohammed Morsi confirmed that al-Bashar al-Assad no longer has a place in Syria after shedding the blood of tens of thousands of his own people since the start of the Syrian revolution in March last year. Morsi vowed during a joint news conference with the European Commission and President José Manuel Barroso in Brussels to work with the Arab and regional parties, which in addition to Egypt include both of Saudi Arabia, Iran and Turkey, to stop the bloodbath in Syria. Egyptian President reiterated his refusal of any interference in Syria, but called on al-Assad to leave and let the Syrians decide their own fate. With this, we end our news summary from Orient News. Thank you for watching.